Dan Hutt. Lord Arms. Forward, march. Detail. Halt. Post color. Place color. Set arm. Order, arms. Color guard, regroup.
Please be seated. I'd like to thank the Iowa Veterans Hall Choir for an incredible rendition today. So much appreciated. John Kopic, who gets that group together, practices, and puts together a great program. Of course, the Marshalltown Men's Choir. Every year, I'm so grateful for you being present with us, for sharing your talents with us, and being part of this great ceremony. Representative Feenstra Veenstra, Senator Warney, Brigadier General Kappelman, and distinguished guests here with us today. Good morning. My name is Todd Jacobus, and I'm the Commandant of the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs. On behalf of the state of Iowa, the Iowa Commission of Veterans Affairs, the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs, thank you for taking the time to be here with us today, for viewing this across our great state. As many of you know, this day traces its roots back to Armistice Day, marking the ceasefire that ended hostilities in World War I. It's a deeply personal day to Iowans. Over 114,000 Iowans served during World War I, which is the highest per capita in the nation. After World War II and the Korean War, Congress recognized the need to honor all who served. And in 1954, they changed the name to Veterans Day. So while it's 10:30 a.m. right here, right now, it's around 6:30 or 7:30 p.m., depending on how far east or west you're at the Damascus Highway, locally known as M2 in Iraq. It's an ancient route, older than the Silk Road, older than history. Archaeology teaches us that it's been traversed by kings and fought over by armies since before humans had the capacity to write about it. And at this very second, as you're listening to me, an Iowa kid is standing there somewhere on watch along that corridor for the vast desert plateau it crosses, far from the turning trees that we see outside and the post-glow harvest here in Iowa this November. It's probably the first time that many of them have ever left the country. And we have a couple of the parents of those soldiers that are in the room with us today. And if you're one of them, could you please raise your hand? We've got right here, way to the back, 2 family members. And I know that there are 5 family members of the Iowa Veterans Home family who have soldiers deployed right now. And I'd like to thank you for raising soldiers. Somewhere here, there are picture smiles from a mantle, or a table, or a wall, probably in more than one home. The pride and joy of the family and loved ones who wish they were here today instead. Many of us here in this room have walked in that young warrior's boots. It's not meant for everyone to understand, but we know that calling, what they must do and why they have to do it. We know there's good days and bad. We know there's some good memories, and there'll be memories that they relive every day. And sadly, there might be others that they can only stop reliving through the strength of comrades, professionals, brothers and sisters. Like others before us, we took our watch, our turn on that watch. Now we take our turn on this watch, ensuring that they are the center of our grateful nation's thoughts today. Like our forebears, we commit to ensuring that they have the very best support available when they return home, because that's the sacred heritage that we were given. God willing, the young Iowan who left will return a warrior for life, equipped to uphold this sacred cycle of commitment for the brave who follow them when we are ultimately released. It is this sacred cycle, the willing service and sacrifice of the few for the many, and including all of you in this room, and the American cause that we protect, and the spirit that invisibly drives this calling of those few, generation after generation, that we honor today. And I would now like to ask Chaplain Angela Doty to provide a prayer.
You'll join me, let us pray together. Almighty God, source of all courage and comfort, on this Veterans Day we gather with hearts full of gratitude at the Iowa Veterans Home to honor a noble generation, the veterans of Iowa, who answer the call of duty for our great nation. We thank you for the lives of every veteran who resides here, for their selfless sacrifice, their courage in the face of peril, and the lasting legacy of freedom they have secured for us all. Bless them with peace, dignity, and comfort in their days. and may they know the profound honor and appreciation of a grateful state and nation. We also pause in solemn remembrance of those who have been called home this past year, our comrades, friends, and loved ones from this community. Though their names are many and their voices are now silent, their spirit of service lives on. We entrust their souls to your eternal care, O God, and pray that they have found true peace and rest in your loving presence. Bring comfort and consolation to families, friends, and dedicated staff of the Iowa Veterans Home who mourn their absence. May the memory of their lives and their sacrifices remain a sacred flame in our hearts, reminding us that freedom is never free. We also pray for those from the Iowa National Guard, Army, and Air who are currently deployed or preparing to deploy. Watch over them and their families. Give them strength, courage, and unity of purpose. Watch over their families as they wait for their return. We ask you to bring all our Iowa Guard soldiers and airmen home safely with honor to their proud families and a grateful country that awaits them. We offer this prayer in honor of all who serve, both living and departed. Amen.
Thank you, Chaplain Debbie. That was outstanding. I'm not the only one that was mouthing the words while they were singing. Awesome. Thank you so much. I saw you doing it too, Todd. That's right. Yeah. I would like to introduce and welcome back Congressman Randy Feenstra, who's visiting the Iowa Veterans Home today and will have lunch with residents later. I'd also like to thank him for the great support that his office and he himself provides to Iowa veterans. Representative Feenstra.
That's my heart. It was incredible. Thank you for that. November 11th. Every year, we take this day, we take this time, and we honor our heroes, our veterans. Our nation is stronger and more secure because of the sacrifices of hundreds and thousands of Iowans who have selflessly answered the call to serve. And you know what? Our veterans, all of you, deserve all our appreciation, not just one day of the year, but all 365 days of the year. You have all fought to protect our freedoms, defend our flag, ensure that our nation remains free, yet never seek recognition or praise. And for that, we can never truly repay you. But we must ensure you receive high-quality health care. That's something that our state and nation must and has provided. Iowa Veterans Home Commandant of the Iowa Department of Veterans Affairs, Todd Jacobus, at the helm, has created a gold star standard for veterans care right here. And thank you. I'm also thoroughly impressed with the services you have provided here as a standard that's far surpassing what can ever be expected with the 700 employees who dedicate their time and talents to serve the nearly 400 veterans that are here today. Ensuring that we support our veterans with the best health care and services that we have to offer is a top priority for our country, for our state, and for myself. It must be a promise that we always honor. Think about this. Less than 1% of our U.S. population is currently serving in the military, but about 6% of our population are veterans. That is an incredible sliver of population that has done an incredible duty of protecting our American way of life and our cherished freedoms. As Iowans, we have no greater duty than providing our veterans with the benefits they need and that they have earned and deserve. I'm extremely grateful to each one of you for wearing the uniform and making the unthinkable sacrifices in service to our country. Your selfless patriotism and devotion to the cause, greater than any one person, is what makes this country truly special. As a proud Iowan, as a proud American, I will always support our veterans because you are the true American heroes who have kept our nation the greatest nation on earth. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Now it's my privilege to introduce our keynote speaker. Brigadier General Mark Appleman is a native Iowan from Decorah, graduated from high school in Decorah. He entered the military in 1991 as a cadet at the United States Military Academy at West Point. After graduating in 1995, he was commissioned as an aviation branch second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. Brigadier General Appleman and his family have been stationed around the world over the past 29 years, to include 2 tours in Germany and a year in the Republic of Korea. He's deployed numerous times in support of contingency operations in Croatia, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Kosovo, Afghanistan, and Iraq. Mark is a master aviator with more than 3,000 flight hours in various rotary and fixed-wing aircraft. He spent over 11 years of his career flying with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne. And when you think of that, you think Special Operations Community, you think places like Somalia, hardened places in Afghanistan, and basically where the toughest fighting gets done, the 160th is present. As a colonel, he was the Army's senior fellow at the Council on Foreign Relations. And prior to that, the commander of the Aviation Brigade at Fort Belvoir, Virginia. He is currently the director of the Joint Staff for the Iowa National Guard. Some of his many awards include the Legion of Merit Bronze Star, the Defense Meritorious Service Medal, the Meritorious Service Medal, and the Air Medal. Brigadier General Kappelman has master's degrees in strategic studies from both the Naval War College and the Army War College. He is married to Kelly, and they have 2 sons, Glenn and Alex, both of whom are here today. Can you raise your hands? Over here somewhere. Right back there. His parents are also here. You can raise your hand. We'll be around. Thank you for raising a soldier and a great leader. General Kappelman.
Thank you, God. So, Representative Feenstra, Senator Warney, Commandant Jacobus, distinguished guests, veterans, family, and friends. Wow, I'll tell you. Having a sitting U.S. representative warm up the crowd for you. What an honor. And you can use that trick more often. This is an incredibly difficult speech to give for 2 reasons. One, it's hard to follow up a member of Congress. And 2, how do you give a Veterans Day speech to an audience that is comprised of all veterans? What can I tell you that you do not already know? You have served and sacrificed with what is the best of America. Well, I've always been up to a challenge. But before I begin, I have a couple of administrative remarks. First, many of you probably know we are in a shutdown of the federal government. So it was a little contentious as we coordinated this on whether or not I'd be able to appear today, and if so, would I be authorized to wear the uniform? What the Army decided was that these Veterans Day speeches actually fell under an umbrella of recruiting. I told them that I was going to the Veterans Home, and they said, do your best. So I need at least one recruit to come out of this speech. It's only for 3 or 4 years in the Iowa Guard. We're going to be giving the Army fitness test right after lunch out in front of the main office, and Commandant Jacobus will be working all required age waivers. One last public service announcement is if Representative Feenstra doesn't stay long after lunch, understand that it's because he's desperately needed back in Washington, D.C. to sign the Restore Brigadier General Kappelman's Paycheck Act of 1925. For that, sir, we thank you. My wife thanks you. My kids thank you. All right. Say, all joking aside, I would like to note that on behalf of all the veterans here in this room, and on behalf of those of us still serving, it is an honor to have Representative Feenstra here with us today. Of the hundreds of votes that he has cast in the House of Representatives, there is a tremendous theme of supporting our military, our veterans, and the defense of this nation. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but you have the SERV Act, the Simplifying Corporate Veterans Claims Act, the Pro-Veterans Act, the ACES Act, the VA Home Loan Program Reform Act, not to mention all of the appropriation and authorization acts that keep this country and our defense going. Please join me in a round of applause to thank Representative Feenstra for this support. At the bottom of your program, there's a quote from Abraham Lincoln: "Any nation that does not honor its heroes will not long endure." It is good to know that this nation continues to honor its veterans and support them appropriately. I wanted to tell you a quick story of the 11-year period Colonel Jacobus mentioned of my service as an Army aviator that was with the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment Airborne. The 160th SOAR has a fairly well-known motto, and I have one of my personal coins for any Veterans Home resident who can tell me what that motto is for the 160th SOAR? Anyone? I have one hint. If you abbreviate it, it's MSDQ. No one? Anybody else other than my family? Anybody else know it?
Night Stalker, don't quit, sir.
Night Stalkers don't quit. Commandant Jacobus, if you could deliver this to that gentleman, I appreciate it. Congratulations, sir.
Night Stalker, Gary Payne also.
Hey, that coin does not come without strings. I haven't seen one person in the crowd who's going to swear that this was the best speech he's ever heard. All right? See, I started with the 160th in January of 2001, and I was in Green Platoon, which was the train pipeline, on September 11th, 2001. I had actually flown until about 3 in the morning, gotten home about 4:30. And so when the attacks of September 11th started, the only way that I knew that is my sister actually called me and woke me up. I wasn't too thrilled to be woken up after just a couple of hours of sleep, but obviously spent the rest of that day glued to the television, as many as you did. I graduated from Green Platoon then that next month, so in October. And by November, I was in Uzbekistan along with an aviation task force, but predominantly it was the 5th Special Forces Group that was running that operation. And that was the beginning of the war against Al-Qaeda and the Taliban in Afghanistan. By January of 2002, so just 2 months later, I was the senior Army aviator in Bagram, Afghanistan, with 4 of our MH-47 Echo Chinook helicopters, and we were the only aircraft that were stationed there at Bagram. So many of you may be asking yourselves right now, what on earth was a 28-year-old captain who just graduated from training 3 months earlier doing as the senior guy and in charge there in Bagram, Afghanistan? I still am asking myself that same question. Where was the parental supervision? We chased Osama bin Laden through Tora Bora, and we continued operations until March of 2002 when Operation Anaconda, and sometimes known as Roberts Ridge, occurred. That story was told in the book, Not a Good Day to Die. Several trips and years later, I was back in Afghanistan prosecuting a target in the Korengal Valley as part of Operation Red Wings. Some people know that as the Marcus Luttrell story. 19 service members were killed, 8 of which were Night Stalkers, and that story was told in the book, Lone Survivor. The Air Mission Commander of that, who was a good friend of mine, was Major Stephen Wright, and he was on board the MH-47D aircraft that was shot down there over the Korengal. Those missions taught me a lot about our warrior ethos, the Night Stalker creed, and the bonds of trust that warriors must have with one another. Specifically from the Night Stalker creed, and I quote, "I will never leave a fallen comrade to fall into the hands of the enemy, and I serve with the memory and pride of those who have gone before me, for they loved to fight, fought to win, and would rather die than quit. Night Stalkers don't quit." And then lastly, while not about a singular incident, the last book I wanted to leave you is Razor 03, A Night Stalker's Wars. Razor 03 was CW5 Al Mac's call sign during Operation Anaconda. And I flew with Al during Operation Red Wings. Al and I were the first aircraft to launch when Major Steve Wright's aircraft was shot down. I make an appearance or two in this book under the pseudonym Marty Kaiser, because for those of us that were still in service and that he hadn't contacted as far as permission. But with all 3 books, I provided a bookmark for you that is the Night Stalker Creed. And while I do not have time today to regale you with all of the stories from those 11 years with the 160 SOAR, I wanted to donate these 3 books to the Iowa Veterans Homes with the hopes that you will read them and enjoy them for years to come. I have inscribed them with the following: donated to the men and women of the Iowa Veterans Home. Thank you for defending liberty, preserving peace, and protecting the ideals that define America. You have my utmost admiration. NSPQ. And that's not very clean. There are two things about these 11 years. First, I owe my success in the United States Army to the 160th SOAR and the leaders in that unit that helped shape me as a young officer. The 160th gave me the opportunity to command as a captain, as a major, and again as a lieutenant colonel. They also sent me to airborne school, where I met my wife, Kelly. That unit put me on a career trajectory that I still benefit from to this day. And secondly, serving in the 160th gave me an appreciation of our metric to measure how high-performing or special so many units are in the armed forces. We tend to use the word special to describe a handful of units and place them somewhat on a pedestal, whether that's the 160th Special Operations, Aviation Regiment, Special Forces, Joint Special Operations Command, and so on. However, the battalion that I commanded in Germany after I left the 160th SOAR flew our 33 UH-60 Black Hawk helicopters to over 20 countries, deterring Russia, assuring our NATO allies, and we flew our 16 fixed-wing aircraft to over 50 countries, supporting combat operations in the Middle East and peacekeeping missions in the Sinai. We did all that without an accident. I would say that that unit was special. The group that I commanded in Kabul as a colonel consisted of soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Brits, Poles, civilians, contractors, and 825 Afghans. Not to mention that the soldiers came from the regular Army, the Guard, and the reserves. We flew our 30-some Mi-17 Russian-built helicopters and our 18 Swiss-built Pilatus DC-12 aircraft over 10,500 hours that year in continuous combat operations without a loss of life. I would say that unit was special. And lastly, the brigade I commanded at Fort Belvoir had more aircraft on alert on tighter timelines than the 160th SOAR. We provided the majority of the aviation support to our nation's continuity of operations and continuity of government missions. We flew the highest civilian and military leaders in our country's most complex airspace and did so without incident. I would say that unit was special. So this is what I leave to you. Regardless of the unit you served in and whether or not they self-advertise as special, regardless of your branch of service and regardless of the job that you have and or your rank, you are all special. Your willingness to don our nation's cloth and put your life on the line for your fellow Americans is what makes you special. I thank you for your service, your resilience, your unwavering commitment to the mission and to one another. And with that, I would like to ask all of you to join me in a round of applause for all of the veterans here today. Thank you, and God bless America.
for the honor guard to render 21 gun salute, followed by the sounding of taps.
Join me in our closing benediction. On this Veterans Day, we come, O Lord, in gratitude for all who have served this great country. Grant that we may not rest until all people of this land share the benefits of true freedom. And may we continue to strive for and live in peace. We ask this in your name. Amen.
I'd like to thank General Kaplan for an incredible presentation to us. I'd also want to formally, in front of all of you, so you're my witness, invite General Kaplan to come back and give us a more detailed, including pictures, so that we can see up close and personal his experiences in America's Army, because it's truly a, my friend Mike Crowley, who's in the Revolutionary War uniform in the back. He always goes to the back of any formation. He does not want us to forget the sacrifices that have been made way back to the Revolutionary War era by service members on whose shoulders we stand. So thanks, Mike, for being everywhere and doing what you do. First Sergeant Mike Hines, the recipient of the coin. First Sergeant Hines spent a career in the Army, including 2 decades in the 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment, culminating an assignment as a first sergeant before moving back home to Iowa. So great to have you here, Mike. And somewhere in this audience is someone having a birthday. And his name is Jake, and I'm looking around trying to find it.
He's out in the.
He's out in the hallway.
He couldn't like
Everybody
get
needs to
in
sing
the.
really loud, so Jake hears me, right? All right, everybody join me in happy birthday to Jake.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Jake. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you so much to all of you sitting out here. I know so many of your stories. I know the incredible sacrifice that many of you have made. 3 World War II veterans stand in this formation, 24 Korean War veterans, 206 Vietnam veterans, veterans of Iraqi freedom, enduring freedom, peacetime veterans. Every single one of you separated yourself from this country by your willingness to serve. And it is truly our privilege, and all of the staff standing in this room, our privilege to serve and support you. We're grateful for you. Thank you so much.